Hey, welcome back. Laura Jane here with some more talk and dropping into some tuning. Today it feels important to talk about one of the most valuable things we can get from these practices and even approaches is how valuable it is to build in time to listen to ourselves, to just drop in and check out what the heck is going on with us. I'm really impressed lately with how things like meditation can really be all about that. And I'm really kind of fired up to share that I think we got it wrong about meditation. In meditation being about turning off the mind or stopping thoughts. Because even though there may be some power and some play to that and possibility, sure, with finding ways to quiet our mind, even if it was just for a few seconds at a time, and even to redirect the mind and to control the mind and master the mind. But I think what's even more helpful and even heartful with how we can use meditation is seeing it's a chance to more listen to ourselves. And that includes listening to the mind. So dropping in whatever ways help us to do that. And I love that when we look at that word meditation, of course, all sorts of things could be a form of meditation, a way to get into a state of more like focus and observing and noticing and using something to help us focus so that we can more clearly listen to ourselves. But there is certainly a power to the old-fashioned just sitting and closing our eyes as meditation. Now, we do have to remember you can sit however the heck you want, or you can even lay down. There's no real reason to have to be in a certain position. That may be something we didn't know about meditation. So I think it's important to be comfortable, actually, and to be willing to change positions during your meditation. To me, feels a lot more of like a connected approach with ourselves and our bodies. I don't see what the benefit would be in overriding when our body wants to shift or move, or if it was uncomfortable. So sitting cross-legged like this may be comfortable for some amounts of time for some of us. So sure, do it if it does feel good. But even for me, after some time with my legs cross-legged, I want to shift positions. So I might choose another sitting position, and then a little later I might shift positions, and I might lay down too, especially if I'm doing what I call meditation. So being comfortable is important. And although we don't really want to be trying to fall asleep, that may be one of the reasons to sit more upright. But a lot of teachers and people would say that if you do fall asleep during what you were calling meditation, then probably it means you were tired. So that's what you needed. So it doesn't necessarily mean you failed either. Yeah. So what about looking at meditation as a way to listen to ourselves more, as a way to also get in more of a listening mode in our moments, which there's a lot of therapy to as well. So also taking in the sounds in our moments, like right now I can hear a bird outside and the breeze and certainly my voice, and those could be things I could use as part of a tuning aspect and a listening mode that could shift my moment, shift my awareness, and even shift my focus. And although it's also just that listening to the thoughts as they do roll through, I've come to see. So whether we're just sitting, and that's what we get a chance to now see and be with more and watch and listen to, from a non-judgment place is still a recommendation, and even more of like a loving space and place, so that we can love ourselves through what we're noticing, and even that can be such a cool way to free it up. I've learned that so much through so many teachers, especially Kyle Cease lately, that when we're in meditation and just spending that time just listening to ourselves, just watching the show of the mind, really, that when we're noticing things that feel hard or things that we're challenged by, that then in that moment it's a chance to also be with it and not judge it, and even find a way to kind of love it in a way and love ourselves through it, and that actually can free it up and let it go. So that's the reason to do the listening and the looking, because it's the way to free stuff up. And then the flip side, that is, if we're not doing things to listen to ourselves, if we're not giving ourselves that space to be with what is true for us, much less love ourselves through it, then we're probably doing things like pushing down feelings and avoiding thoughts, and probably engaging in behaviors or habits or things that are more like addictions, that are our ways to avoid the feelings and the thoughts, right? So in a sense, we're already doing some things in our days that are part of ways we're trying to get centered, probably, and trying to come into the moment. And I love that too, that I really got that through Kyle Cease, that our addictions even are a way that we're trying to come into the moment. So it even has this like good aim maybe, but maybe not in a functional way, or not in a way that leaves us feeling good in the long run, or that we want to do anymore, whatever it is. Whether it's, going on to social media in a way that's more needy or graspy, or that doesn't feel good, because social media obviously can be like that for us, even though it also can be amazing and wonderful as a way to connect. Or it may be substances we use, or ways we use food, or people, or just being addicted to stress, to working, things, of all sorts, that are ways to kind of avoid ourselves, right? So this flip approach of actually building in time and ways each day to listen to ourselves as the foundational thing that we're doing with these practices, I'm seeing is huge, and it really transforms how we can feel. It really gets us so much more tuned into ourselves, of course, which there's a lot of benefit to. We get to resolve some of this stuff and look at our triggers and deal with what we're working through, and let ourselves feel more and become more free in that way. And then we also get that time to listen to the inspiration and the great ideas and the receiving mode of that, which is a whole nother side of coolness. And then also, when we've taken that time to listen to ourselves, we can also be more even aware of how we want to hold ourselves through the day, or what kinds of things we might want to do now that we've realized what's going on with us and what we're worried about and what we want to take action on, or if we needed a nap today, or realize we want to be drinking more water, or need to call that person, or whatever it is. And we have so much more room and energy to listen to other people, because I don't know about you, but I've started to see that, especially now that I'll see how it feels when I build in that time to listen to myself. If I don't build in that time, then later, if I'm with others and I'm wanting to give them my attention, a little part of me is a little distracted, and I think because it's trying to listen to myself, part of me is wanting to be heard. So there's a value to building in that time and the ways that we find work for us to listen to ourselves, and then do the playful work from there of resolving our stuff, freeing up our stuff, being able to be in our moments more clearly, and move towards more who we want to be and what we want to be creating and how we want to be living. So there's huge clarity that comes from listening to ourselves, and maybe you could say starting to listen to a different part of ourselves too than we might usually do. I like that shift as well, that maybe things like meditation are a way we can be listening more from a heartful space, more from a spiritual side of us, more tuning into that part of us that may be wiser or more loving, or that inner true self, whatever we want to call it. So it becomes a way that we're connecting with that by just building in ways to listen more. So it may be that just closing our eyes and watching the show of the mind and loving ourselves through that. It may be time in our journals. It may be on walks, or in the bath, or on the mat, or on a horse, or with the paintbrush, or just in nature, right? Or using things like music, all sorts of things that can be part of getting us into that mode. Yeah. So I vote for that. More listening to ourselves, more listening in general as a way to be in our moments more and be with each other more. And yeah, really change some things too, right? So I'm excited about the power of these simple things, but that I see are part of our tuning and a more connected lifestyle for ourselves and the team. Yes. Well, thank you. Glad to share it with you. Super stoked to be on this ride with you. Namaste. See you next time.